Raihana's Cuisines. In this video we're gonna be making dokra, but this dokra is gonna have the yeast in it. I have made, in fact it's cooking there. I've made a recipe on the instant dokras, so make sure you check out that recipe too, and then you can decide which one you want to do. For this one you're gonna need a steamer, so if you have like a double pot steamer like this one, it would be great. But if you don't, I have explained this method also in my first instant dokra video. Is you need a pot, a saucepan that you're not going to use very much, just any pan that goes upside down into the pot, and then you're going to be using one of these trays or any one like this. Make sure you put make sure it's oiled, and then it goes on top of it, and then you cover it, and you do add about 1.5 inches of water. Make sure it's boiling, and then you close it up. So this is just the method I'm showing you. I use that one for steaming. So let's go ahead and start getting this batter together. For this one, this recipe is my mom's recipe. She's taught me how to do this. So we're quickly gonna go ahead and put this together. For this recipe, we're gonna need 1 cup of besan or chickpea flour, 1/4 cup of rice flour. We're going to need 1/4 cup of warm water, which has become cold. So I'm just going to go ahead quickly put some hot water in there. The reason why you want to make sure that your water is really nice and hot is because we're going to be putting the yeast in here. And well, let me rephrase that. You don't want it really, really hot, but you want it pretty lukewarm. So it kind of starts the water, gets the yeast going. So here we go, and then I have a teaspoon of yeast that I'm going to be adding to the water, and I have about 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, which we're going to be adding to the yeast. The reason why we do this is that yeast will eat the sugar and it'll start fermenting. It'll just kind of give you a head start on fermenting the yeast. And then I've got about 1.5 teaspoons of garlic and ginger. I've got salt to taste, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. I have got some dried parsley flakes. Now, the best thing you could use for this is the fresh chopped coriander. I don't have any in the house, and I just wanted really to make this recipe. So when you're making it, make sure you substitute this with the fresh coriander. We're gonna be using 1/4 cup of oil. I have 5 tablespoons of yogurt that I've kind of watered down. So you want to make sure that you don't really keep this in mind, because my dokras were not coming out right, because when somebody says 5 tablespoons of yogurt, you take it out from the container and you've got 5 tablespoons of yogurt. But you really need to mix that and thin it out just a little bit, so when we do put our batter together, it's going to look like a cake batter. And then I've got some green chutney here. I will not be using this, but if you want your dokras really nice and hot, make sure you put the green chutney in there. I have a video on that. We're going to be sprinkling it with paprika. You can use cayenne again if you want to make it really spicy. And then we're going to need some spray oil just to spray our pans. I think I got everything. Now here, I just want to explain you here the Tarka or the Wagar ingredients. To this, we are going to be using 2 tablespoons of olive oil here. Any oil will do, but I use olive oil. I have about 1.5 tablespoons of sesame seeds. Got 1 teaspoon of baby mustard seeds. I've got 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, and I've got about 6 to 7 curry leaves, fresh curry leaves here, and that we'll do later. So at first, let's go ahead and get our batter done, so the batter can start fermenting, and then we can always work on the tarka later. So I'm going to go ahead and add my chickpea flour in there, or the besan, the rice flour. I'm just going to mix it just a little bit. To this, I'm going to go ahead and add my yogurt, and then I'm going to mix this really, really well. I'm going to mix this really, really well so we don't have any lumps forming. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add my oil. Ginger and garlic. Salt to taste, and you can even add citric acid if you want to make this really nice and tart. And I forgot mine, so I'm going to run and get my citric acid here. Or you could even add fresh lemon juice if you like. Now, we're going to see how this batter comes to. We might just need to add just a little bit of water. Now, do you see how this yeast has already started fermenting? Go ahead and add that in here. And we're going to give it a good mix. Okay, now to me this is pretty thick. We need to have it look like cake batter, so I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of water. And you're not gonna know this just because depending on the yogurt, you know, how it depends on how thin the yogurt is. So we're just gonna again mix this really well and just look at the consistency. Okay. It looks still a little bit pretty thick. Okay, now it's looking really good. Okay, so I'm going to show you what the consistency looks like here. A much better. Look at that. So do you see how it started from a really thick batter and it got pretty thinned out really nice? So that's what you want to do. Just keep on adding just a little bit of water until you have the cake batter consistency. To this you want to do a taste test because this is it. We want to make sure you've got all your ingredients in there, the citric acid, the salt, the chilies, whatever. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my dried parsley in here just because when we cut it open it's going to look really nice. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cover this. I'm going to leave it for about 15-20 minutes. When we come back I'm going to show you how it looks when it's fermented, and then we're also going to be doing the Tarka or the Wagar. So we're going to go ahead and do our Tarka for this Dokra. The mixture is still rising, so we're going to leave that, but I just wanted to show you how we're going to do the Tarka here. So for this I have about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in here, and what I have done is go ahead and add our mustard seeds in there. Once they start splattering or popping, we're going to go ahead and add the cumin seeds in there. And they're coming around. Okay, to this I'm going to add my cumin seeds, curry leaves, okay, and my sesame seeds. And so my Tarka is done. Just gonna let it cook just a little bit, and then this is it. I'm gonna turn off my stove, and then when our mixture is ready, we're gonna be adding this Tarka inside the Dokra mixture. With the mixture here, look at how that has fermented really nice. So it's doubled in size basically, and I have my stock pot here, and I can tell that it is really nice and hot. So at this time I'm just gonna take my my pan here, and the reason why it's like this is because I just made the instant ones too. So you make sure you check out the instant Dokra recipes too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna spray this pan here, because we're gonna make 2 out of this, and then this one here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, and we had made our Tarka. I'm gonna add that to our mixture here. Okay. I'm gonna give it a good mix. And look at the consistency. So if you have a batter that looks very, very thick, make sure you add a little bit of water. Where it is very much like either pancake or cake batter. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to put some of this batter into the tray, because I don't think we can make one whole one, just because it's gonna fall over, it's gonna go over. So I usually make 2 from this. To this, we're gonna add our 1 teaspoon of eno. When you add the eno, you will see there's gonna be a chemical reaction happening right there. And you're gonna see, you don't wanna over mix it, but you'll see it become really, really frothy. I don't know if you can see that. The mixture is gonna get really nice and frothy. And you just don't want to over mix it. Okay. But I don't know if you can see, but it has become really, really frothy. Now here I have added our pan into the steamer, and I have already oiled it. I'm just gonna go ahead and add our mixture to the tray. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and sprinkle it with paprika. Now, if you wanna make it spicy, then go ahead and sprinkle it with cayenne. So we're just quickly gonna go ahead and sprinkle that, just like so. And we're gonna cover it, and we're gonna leave it alone for 15 minutes. When we come back after 15 minutes, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna get it out, and we're gonna make the pieces, and we're gonna look at the inside, and we're gonna compare it to the instant ones that I made. So it's been 15 minutes, and we're gonna quickly lift this. And the reason I lifted it quickly is because you see all that water, you don't want that to drip into the Dokra. So I had a towel sitting here, and I put it on top of that. And I know for sure it's done, but we're still gonna do a taste test, here. And by putting it in, it comes out pretty clear. So now at this point, I'm just gonna take this tray out here. Now just make sure that the steam does not burn you. It's not that bad though. Okay. So there we go. Now I have my first one already out. So I'm gonna show you here. This is what the first one looked like, and we're gonna cut it. I'm gonna show you. See, that's beautiful. When I told you that we put the dry flakes in there, I'm gonna move just because of the lighting here. So just you know how I had said that when we put the dry flakes in there, see the colors that show up on there? It just looks absolutely beautiful. I love the way it has come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slice it up. All right, I'm gonna slice this up. And then I wanna show you and compare it to the instant one. I don't think there's much difference, but it's worth to give it a try and see which one you like. And it also depends on time. Like when you're running out of time, then you'd rather do the instant ones. And then if you have more time on your hands, you can try the yeast ones. So let's go ahead, and I have a tray here that we're gonna put it on. to show you the difference here. All right, so when you take 2 pieces, we take 2 pieces in our hand. One that's the instant one, and one that is the yeast one. So this is yeast, this is the instant one. I really don't know what the difference is. I feel like this is more dry even by adding oil in it, the ones that we instant ones, while the ones that we use the yeast in is much more moisture, and it moist and it stays moist. So basically that's the difference. As far as taste is concerned, I can really not vouch one over other. I think both the recipes are awesome. So you'll have to give it a try and let me know what you think. I just wanted to quickly show you here that you can even fry these up, and this is what they look like, and they're absolutely wonderful. So if you make some dokras and you have some leftovers and you really don't know what to do with it, they freeze really well and they also fry really well. And I love to eat this when I'm fasting. So what will happen is the outside is really crunchy and then the inside will be nice and soft. So there you have it. So make sure you give this a try. This concludes our episode of making yeast dokras. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up on this video. Send me a comment or two. Join me on Facebook under Raihana's Cuisines. And we will see you next time. So thank you for joining me on this episode of Raihana's Cuisines. Hope you can join me here next time with another great recipe. See you then, friends.